Hello everyone and welcome back. It's Creative Redundancy back again here with another video. And this is gonna go along, well, like in parallel to the last live stream that I just did about survival kits and, well, generally talking about it from day to day to, longer term survival kits like an inch bag, I'm never coming home type of bag. So let me whip up the intro here. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to drop by my video / live stream, depending if you see it live or, well, after it's processed. So just download off the chat here. I don't have anyone by yet. Hopefully that'll change a little bit, but it's not a big deal. No one comes by. As I know, at the time of the recording of this live stream, it's quite late or early, depending how you want to say it. Welcome. Thanks for dropping by. During my live streams, unless I specify, all comments and questions are accepted, and I'll try to answer anything I can. Like, I am no expert at survivalism, bushcrafting, homesteading, or even prepping, but I'm learning about it, trying to understand it, grasp my head around all these concepts, and hopefully create a better future for me and, well, everyone I know. So basically in this one, I'm just gonna be talking about, like, an open talk about what I consider 7 key areas or things to remember when you're creating a survival type of kit. So basically I'm just gonna call it the survival 7. I know there's two other kind of ways of considering survival in general. There's the rules of 3, and then there's which starts off as 3 seconds without hope, 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without good shelter and extreme conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 months without companionship or being able to talk to someone. But the rules of 3, there's, it's kind of not exact. It gives you, kind of priorities to remember, but it doesn't include concepts like fire, which is not included in that. And sometimes one can go without shelter longer, and sometimes certain people can go without water for a little bit more time than 3 days, such as they're stuck in a cave, or they're buried under rubble or something like that, where they're only getting very minimal amount of water. And something like food, after the first few days without eating, you start feeling tired, and your body might start cannibalizing its own body for, well, for energy, for calories, like muscle or fat. Now, certain things are required in survival, and like I said, the priority may vary from season to environment. These are just 7 areas that I consider when I create or make a kit, or I want to learn more about certain things about survivalism, prepping, or bushcrafting, or homesteading. And generally, most things will fall within these 7 areas. And maybe might be a little bit easier for some newer people to understand or to take hold of. Now, going back to what I was saying about the rules of three, there's also the 10 C's of survivability, which includes, if I remember right, a cutting tool, such as a knife, combustion type of equipment like a lighter, for example. There's cover, which is basically shelter. There's cordage, which is basically, line, rope, fishing line, and all that stuff, so you can tie things together, lash a shelter together, for example. There's containers, which basically, to store stuff, especially like metal containers, like to store water, which can be used to boil in, for example. Now, there are 10, there are 5 C's would be cargo tape, so duct tape, gorilla tape. Tape can be used to repair and stuff like that. Canvas needle, so you can make repairs by sewing, like articles of clothing back together, rips in your pants, for example. Candling, which basically means light, so flashlight, headlamp, a torch. For you guys that live in our parts of the world, that means flashlight. There's also con, because con can be used to keep you cool if it's wet. It can be burnt, obviously, as a fire starter, or it can be charred to create something similar to charcoal, known as char cloth or char material. You can char natural materials like punk wood, for example. And I know I'm forgetting one more here. Cargo tape, needle. I think compass is in there. Yeah, I think I got all the 10 C's in there, but let's type it real quick. So if you're watching this live, or once it's processed, you can leave me comments down below on any questions, anything you want to ask, I'm not sure of. So on the live chat right now, if you're on the side chat, you can leave me a comment or a question. And if you're watching this after it's been processed, you can leave me a comment or a question in the comments down below, and I will reply back with some sort of an answer, the best of my ability. Excuse me. So in the previous live stream, I kind of talked about survival kits, and I kind of brought this up, so I decided, you know what? instead of making that video much longer than it should be, I decided I'll just come back, do another live stream, so and talk about these 7 core areas that I remember when I'm making a kit, things to keep in mind. So basically, no in particular order, the priority might change depending on the situation. Some things might be more important at certain times, while other times less important. So, and I'll have an example afterwards, but basically the first area is going to be shelter and core, keeping your core body temperature warm or cool. Now, most life on the planet is warm-blooded. Well, I shouldn't say most life, but all humans, Homo sapiens we're all warm-blooded. So our blood's warm, and we regulate our core body temperature versus something like a lizard that relies on external environment to keep it warm or cool. So that's the first area right there. Shelter and regulating core body temperature. Which is going to include keeping cool, keeping warm, stuff like gloves and mitts in the winter so you don't get frostnip or frostbite. Having like a poncho, that's going to be kind of considered shelter, because it's going to keep you dry, keep the wind off of you, keep that windshield off of you if it's like below freezing. Now the next area most people know is fire, which is also, I'm going to include heat and lighting, because fire gives off that too. Now fire does other things too, like boil water and stuff like that, but generally you probably don't be using it for, light and heat. And from the light and heat, you can boil water, see things, maybe deter animals from coming by, like wild animals. Now the next important thing is going to be water, which also includes controlling core body temperature, because water is every organism, everything that's kind of living on this planet needs some sort of water. Now for us humans, it's gonna be a couple days max without acquiring more fluids, whether it be water or something similar, because water is needed to help you digest food, control your body temperature. Like during the summer, water will keep you cool. During the winter, it'll keep your blood from getting too thick, so you keep cycling through that heat in your body, so your extremities stay warm. And of course, now the next area is going to be food, which is going to include stuff to make traps, of course, the standard fishing, hunting, capturing, and processing the animal, and knowledge about foraging for wild edibles, knowing about plants, which part of the plant's edible. Like for example, like cattail, for example, if I remember right, the roots are edible, the white parts, especially if you cook them and heat them up and stuff like that. Now the other three, maybe not as well known, but if you think about it, it's always been there, which includes safety and security, which is gonna, you know, include like stuff like first aid. Because if you're injured, well, you're not safe. So first aid kit, trauma kit's not help. Uh, if there's riots in their area, right, you're not gonna feel safe. So something to help you with that, whatever it is, and maybe it's a weapon, but it doesn't necessarily need to be one. And then another category is kind of navigation or orientation. So, because everyone has to know where they are in relationship to where they gotta go. Because if you don't know where, you might know where you want to go, but you don't know where you are. So, how do you get to somewhere if you don't even know where you are? Because once you know where you are, you know where you gotta go, you can go there. So, stuff like maps, compass, and knowledge of like the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, or the moon. uh, Stellar navigation using stars, knowing where what's that star, Polaris, the northern star, is, and how certain constellations are in a certain direction in the sky. Of course, that is slightly different depending if you live in northern or the southern hemisphere. And the last area is going to be kind of movement and transportation, because eventually you gotta move. You gotta move to like where there's game, there's more resources. Yes, we can walk, but kind of like ancient technology, like the wheel can greatly get you somewhere much faster. From ancient times, wagons, chariots, horses, to modern times where planes, cars, trucks, buses, boats. Right, that's all transportation. So, for example, again, if you're lost or whatever, and somehow you on a trail or whatever, and you happen to find a bike that works, I mean, that's gonna give you transportation, which means you can make distance quite easily and maybe actually get out of that situation. Oh, it's about time. It's about time. It's about time. Finally, Sammy drops in on me. Finally, Sammy's gonna see me on live stream. Hello, Sammy. So, I don't know. As I have a few more people dropping in here, um, I was just basically talking about the kind of standard rules of three, which basically for me it's more of a way to prioritize things, because the rules of three is not set in stone. There's variables that can change that, either shorten the time or lengthen the time. I mean, for most people, like, unless it's extremely cold or hot, can go without shelter for more than 3 hours. But it's thunder showers and it's cold rain. Well, a couple hours later, you're gonna start feeling cold and like start slipping into the state of hypothermia. hypothermia meaning below your normal body temperature, where your core body temperature starts dropping. And of course, I was talking about the 10 C's of survivability. Yes, I was talking about the 10 C's, which was started by Dave Canterbury, by the way. Which is another way of kind of sorting out the items or gear in a kit. Like, I know them. I kind of be like, okay, I got a cutting tool here, say it like that. But after thinking about it a little bit more, that can work, but sometimes, let's just say, a piece of string might be cordage, but it might not be useful enough to, like, make shelter. Yes, Sammy. Sammy, if you guys don't know, Sammy really likes Dave Canterbury's tendencies of survivability. She's added her own. Well, I know other people have added their own, 5 more C's. You can go check out videos like that. I know Sammy's got that video. But yeah, anyways, like I said, like 5 minutes ago, I consider it more like, 7 areas. 7 key areas to remember, especially if I'm trying to put together a kit, especially, like a backpack full of gear, to evac with, like to bug out with. So shelter and controlling core body temperature, fire, light, and heat, water, which includes controlling core body temperature / cooling, because water actually will help you cool down. And one of the major things, if you have access during the summer, if you get access to water, you can stay outside in the heat a lot longer. And of course, then there's food, which includes all stuff to acquire food, or to make it, or to process it, which is, that include a fillet knife, spear, arrowhead, maybe something like a slingshot, if you want to, hit a squirrel or a rabbit, for example. And the other 3 are safety and security, because you want to feel safe in the area that you're in. And if you're cut, well, you're not safe because you can get infection. So first aid kit, trauma kit's not help somewhere in there. Maybe something as simple as a spear will make you feel safer from like wild animals or something like that. Although probably it's more of a deterrent to keep them at bay, keep distance. And of course, the second last thing is gonna be a kind of navigation or communication or orientation. So you want to be able to tell people where you are, especially if it's an emergency type of situation. Maybe you're signaling for help with like a glow stick with some paracord around it, and you're waving it around like a signal halo to maps, compasses, because there's no point in trying to head somewhere if you don't even know where you are currently. Now, I'll use an example again. After a tornado strikes, or maybe after a tornado strikes, for example, you come out from your kind of storm shelter, things are all over the place. It looks totally different, and you don't have any landmarks to go by because everything's different. And I mean, like, things are all over the place. Like, There's a McDonald's sign that used to be a building to the right of your place. Now it's on the left side. So you might not be like thinking you're heading into one direction when you're actually not heading in the right direction. Or something like a map, or using the sun or the moon or the stars to help you navigate. And the last thing is movement and transportation. Because we all can move with our feet. Now, some people use wheels to help them move, like a wheelchair. And of course, from ancient times of chariot, horse, a horse, a wagon, to modern times, plane, automobiles, trucks, bicycles, unicycles, a Segway, planes, trains. They all help us kind of get around, and that kind of stuff that has wheels or an engine will help you get around even faster. Oh, look at that! I got some more people. Hey Vince, how's it going? And are the preppings here? Thanks for dropping by, man. Greatly appreciate you guys coming by. So much so that I gotta say thanks even in the comments. Yeah, Star Department said the jetpack. Technically, that's a form of transportation. I mean, you know, it might help you. I guess if you had access to a jetpack, well, you're gonna get to your destination maybe even faster, or quicker, or with less resistance. I mean, there's people, if you're bugging out, for example, or evacing out for whatever reason, hurricane, for example, you know, lots of people pile stuff into their vehicles and take off. Well, it's great when you have the vehicle, but you gotta remember you might have to go on foot. So you gotta keep the banks light enough where you have enough supplies, but light enough that you can still kind of carry it on foot. If you have, for example, right now I'm currently working on kind of a cart kind of thing where to help me kind of evac or bug out with. So something like that I can bring along, still put it in a car or a truck. So if the truck breaks down, no gas, engine breaks, I crash. Well, we crash into like a tree or whatever, or you know, in the ditch. I can bring out a car like that, so I don't have to rely on walking with the kit on my back. I can just put it on the cart and kind of wheel it. You know, because something on wheels is probably gonna help you save energy and time in comparison to putting it on your back. I mean, I can carry my inch bag, but if I don't have to carry it, if I can just wheel it around, it's probably gonna be easier. I might be making more distance too, since I'm not gonna be as tired, so I don't have to pace myself so much. So instead of walking like a meter per second with a cart, I could be going like 2 meters per second, and making my getting to a safer location that much quicker. So instead of 2 hours or 4 hours, it's only taking like 2 hours or an hour to get there. And I won't be as tired, and stuff like that. So I don't have to, per se, drink as much or eat as much. Well, actually, our department, yes, you would think I would have a sled and some dogs, which is actually gonna be another form of transportation. I know in the Arctic, that's like there's no snow machines, right? But you know, sled, a sled of a sled with dogs is, still there, and a sled and dogs don't break down like a snow machine would. But it takes a little bit more maintenance to keep up with dogs, and you gotta feed them and stuff like that. Make sure they're healthy, stuff like that. Oh, okay, okay, Sammy. Yeah, I got you there. I got you there. I got you on that comment. I use a foot bag, and an inch is too small. Yeah, you're right about that. That's kind of funny. So yeah, going back to what I was talking about, this kind of what I consider as the survival 7. Because I know a lot of people know the first kind of 4 things, especially from school and stuff like that. Like everyone knows about shelter and water and food. I mean, those things, you're definitely gonna need some form or way, or you're acquiring it or having it. So like, where it's a metal water bottle, pots and pans, water filter, water purification tablets, bleach, maybe a way of solar pasteurizing it. I mean, for me, that's all under like water, because it's going to help me acquire the water or make it safe to drink. I guess I'll add a moderator in while I'm here. Why not? Why not? You guys support me, so I don't mind giving you guys a wrench slash spanner. Gotta use all these words since not all you guys are American or Canadian. I know you guys, some who watch are from the UK, or like Sammy and Vince out from Australia, where it's summertime right there. It's probably really hot there, not like cold like it is here. So I guess I kind of showed them off a little bit earlier in the last live stream, but I guess I'll kind of show them off again. Like this bag right here. Does it contain the core 7 items or survival 7? Not quite. I have shelter, fire, water, a little bit of food. In terms of the safety and security, I got a first aid. Is there a weapon? No, but there is a knife. Is it the biggest or the best? Probably not. In terms of like navigation, communication, and orientation, or letting people know where you are, I got a whistle. I think I have a little mini compass in here. So is it, complete? No, not really. And in terms of transportation, well, sometimes that's just extra. And of course, I can't fit transportation per se in a bag. I mean, yeah, I could put money in if you want to kind of hitch a ride or, something like that. I'm hoping to show off this kit a little bit later. Doesn't weigh too much, but it definitely has, you know, kind of like the tendencies of survivability and my survival 7 in mind, you know, and keeping the rules of 3 in mind too. You know, lots of, you know, different components like cordage, garbage bags, tape, Sharpies, right instruments to write notes with so I can communicate. Signal mirror to, you know, signal with, get some attention. Lighting, which is probably gonna be under candle in the 10 seeds or under fire in my survival 7. Well, you know, it doesn't matter per se what you carry, but the items should help you in some way or form with these 7 areas that I've been mentioning. You know, shelter, fire, water, food, safety and security, communication, navigation, and orientation, and transportation. I mean, some items are a little bit better. You know, they apply more overall. Like, let's say, for example, like jute twine. Jute twine is a multi-use item, and I'm a big fan of multi-use items, especially something like jute twine. Jute twine can be used to tie shelter together, uh, and of course, it can be frayed up and burnt if need be as a fire starter. Oh, that's cool, Rose. That's cool. He wrote, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Carvelis? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But anyways, he said, last hurricane, both Jeeps had food, water, gas, and a firearm in case they needed to bug out. I mean, like, yeah, that's cool, that's cool. You know, a lot of those items probably would help these 7 areas that I've been talking about. Well, Alex, one may say they can create something, but, you know, until you actually do it, you know, you don't know how hard or how long it would take. I mean, because sometimes you can make something, but is it gonna function the way you want it to at the end? I mean, even in terms of in history, let's say, I think it's the English longbow, for example, uh, or it might be another type of archery type of weapon, but I know one of them it took like a year to make just because after putting the stuff together, you had to wait a year for it to kind of harden or dry or kind of set in place. So, you know, you might be able to make something, but it might take more time than you think. Hey, it's Valerie. Hello, Val. Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, basically this kit right here, basically this is like a backup kind of kit. This is like has less weight, less supplies, but because it's lighter, you're gonna get mobility because it's lighter. It might not be as capable as some of the bigger or heavier bags that I carry or have, but in a jam, I can still use this to a certain degree of time. Or, you know, if I'm leaving with someone else, I can give it to them. And, you know, carry my pack that I want to carry. So, leave me a comment down below if you guys want to see this. I mean, it's not quite done. It's, you know, it's more miscellaneous for me. You know, maybe some spare stuff. You know, might not be the best items. I wouldn't say I had the best items in here of what I have, because I tend to put it in either my kind of evac kit or bug out bag or my inch bag, or you know, I might be using them day to day, so you know, and I don't have a spare, so you know, it might not be in here. Oh, okay, yeah, a shovel would be awesome. The art of prepping was saying that one of those collapsible type of shovels. I've seen them around. I just haven't had a chance to get something like this. I mean, like, I think I have a trawl or something like that, but that's kind of small. I mean, good enough to make small holes or like, you know, a washroom hole per se, but I'm not to be, you know, using it to, you know, dig up a whole bunch of dirt to use it for shelter purposes. I definitely am looking for one. You know, one in my price range. Hopefully not too heavy. Maybe multi-purpose, so alright, I guess I could show off a few things. I was gonna save this bag for a different video, to be honest. But you know, wait, I'll still save it for a different video. But I will give you guys a sneak peek on this. Show a few of the things, you know. So one thing I've started to do in a lot of the kind of, especially these larger backpack kind of kits, is put a bag inside of it. So basically, using an analogy of a garbage bin or trash bin that, you know, everyone, you know, we all have. No, usually they're layered. They have a plastic bag layered inside, right? So you can, you know, pull out that plastic bag and, you know, throw out the garbage or whatever, right? I took that exact same kind of concept with a lot of these bags. So you'll see a bag, like a backpack, and then there'll be another bag, recycling or trash bag, around it, well, inside, and then all the contents of the bag are inside of that for the most part, unless they're on the outside of the pack or, you know, external pockets and stuff like that. For two reasons. First, if the bag gets wet, the contents on the inside are gonna stay drier. And the second thing is that bag also kind of protects it from rain, and now of course I can use that bag for whatever reason. So I can take it, you know, just pull out that bag and be like, you know, start using it. So it's not only functional the way it is, I can still use it for other reasons. So, you know, let's say I have like 2 garbage bags and this bag, you know, that's on the inside of my bag, you know, as a layer. And, you know, let's say I gotta use those other 2 garbage bags and I need one more bag. Well, I got one more bag right here, all ready to go. but it still has functionality before I even use it. So you'll see a lot of these kind of bags within my bags. So let's see here. As a sneak preview, you know, I'll show off a few things. I won't show off everything. I'll leave that for the video when I actually do show this, but I'll kind of give you guys an idea of what's, you know, what's inside. You know, how I think about when I'm creating a kit of this size. So, first of all, I've shown this in the show off your cordage braids tag, but this is 20 feet of braided line. So this is not kind of come into play if I need to make shelter or use it to, like, well, to use it for shelter, whether it be to put around me or over and around me. So like lean-to or something like that, or if I'm improvising some sort of garbage bag to make a poncho. You know, bright enough to notice it. Something simple, I mean, this cost me like nothing. And of course, you know, garbage bags, contractor bags. These contractor bags, I know for my area, I can get these for like 20, uh, 20, a 20 pack for like 10 bucks. I mean, so 10 bucks worth of contractor bags. I have them throughout all the kits, and a lot of some of the pouch kits I have include at least one. So I mean, there's so many things you could do with this. Gather rainwater, shelter. You can braid this too. I braided this into well, from its parent state into a braided state. I mean, keep me dry. Use it as a container to gather up stuff. So lots of uses. So a clear bag, just more kind of shelter. I could make a solar still, I guess, if I needed to. Metal water bottle, right? So I can boil. It's got water in here right now, so I'll probably have to change this out. Probably at the end of the month. And cycle the water again. So let me put a few of the things back inside. Let's hand sanitizer, multi-use item again. Kind of disinfect something, hands, maybe a tool or something, like a needle if I'm, or something like that. And of course, hand sanitizer, as long as it's got alcohol in it, per se, you know, it's flammable. So I can use it as a fire starter, you know, if it's necessary. I also got some plastic utensils in here. Lightweight. You know, they might not be as durable as, you know, metal, stainless steel, aluminum, or titanium versions, but lightweight and useful. So even if I did find food or have food and I gotta use a utensil, I got, you know, a spoon at least. And a spoon actually takes, you know, some time to recreate. As far as I know, I've never made one, but as far as I know, it takes, you know, some time to recreate a spoon from nature. Alright, Val. Thanks for dropping by. Come by whenever you want. Hey, it's so Steve. What's up, man? Thanks for dropping by. I know the other puppy's been commenting on, yeah, he likes spork, and he's talking about no paracord. Like I said earlier, the art of prepping, this is like kind of like a tertiary or like a backup of a backup. So yes, I can actually add paracord in, but at the moment I don't have it in here. But I do have enough cordage to kind of get by. Because I'm trying to keep this kit as light as possible. Because this bag is not that big. So I don't want to overfill it. But I still want, you know, key things that can be useful for me. Oh, hey, thanks, so Steve. I appreciate that. Yeah. Hopefully nothing major happens during this storm for you. So, you know, stay safe. Thanks for dropping by. Well, I won't let's see right here. I got some zip ties right here. I don't use zip ties all the time, but because I tend to use cordage more, like the Arbor or Canadian Jam on board, but zip tie, you know, they have their uses. And they're quite secure once you put them on. Although, unless you have the reusable ones, they're not really reusable. I mean, you can try to get something in there to kind of wedge it out, to slide it back out, but unless you got that, you know, and sometimes you can't even do that because it's too tight, and you can't get in there to kind of wedge it out, so you gotta cut it. Bread bag, although simple, right? This is lightweight. I can store stuff in here, store water in here. I mean, in theory, I might put another one in here just so if it's wet out, whoever has this bag on, you know, maybe it's me, maybe it's someone else, maybe it's a friend, you know, maybe they don't got the right shoes on, it's raining and it's pouring and their feet are starting to get wet, they can put this around their feet, keep their shoes dry, or their feet dry, or their socks dry. Some duct tape right here, make repairs and stuff like that. It can burn if you really needed to. Make that kind of sticky fire. Let's see. Right here I got a mirror, some toilet paper. You know, toilet paper can be used as a fire starter. It's not that hard. Let's see. Also keep a pen in here, which just happens to have a strike hammer match on the inside. Now I've actually shown this pen before in the supplemental survival kit version 1, but I changed it out, so now the pen's with this kit. I also got some spare kind of plastic bags here for whatever reason. And of course this includes a little bit of food, you know, some ready to go stuff, maybe some tea. This also includes a fire kit, which is basically, you know, lighter, access to a heat method, so it's gonna be slower. tender. Let's see. At the moment, I have this kind of knife in here. Small, I know, but it's lightweight. I might be adding something. I might change this to something else, but oops. I should be paying attention, not, yeah. Small, but it does lock, so at least I don't have to worry about that. And I can easily clip this on. And this also includes another container to boil in, or to cook in. Let's see, what else is there? There's also corn bandana. I think, yeah, I do have a little bit extra cordage in here and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, this is just a backup type of kit, or tertiary type of kit. One I wouldn't, go to first, but if I have more people with me, I could still give them something, an actual backpack, and not just, not just a tin full of stuff. Oh, look at that. It's the peeping egg. Welcome, the peeping egg. Thank you for dropping by. Just what Alex said about 2 sticks. I would just say, if you can, I would use chopsticks instead of a fork. But a spoon, on the other hand, is kind of more difficult. You kind of have to make a depression, a little bit harder to recreate from nature. But I wouldn't want to create a fork in nature. I'd probably just make chopsticks. I mean, anyone can learn how to use chopsticks. It's not that hard. And you can kind of, even if you don't know how to use one, you kind of can use like something like a ranger band, rubber band, to kind of, help you along with it. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm trying to put the buckle back in on this kit. Alright. So basically, like I said, this is a backup type of kit. Not my primary kit, but it is lightweight. Has a few key things, and I can give it to someone, a friend or a family member if need be, especially if especially if they're with me. Let me just check out what you guys are writing. You guys are writing so much, I gotta keep up with the chat here. Yes, peeping eggs in the house. If I was closer to the fridge, I'd bring out an egg just to show it, but I don't. So imagine I have an egg in my hand, an Easter egg. Oh yeah, I should mention, on my live streams, people are free to sub to each other, but remember, show them more support than just subbing. Leave them, go check out their content. Because I mean, if you're subbing to a channel, I mean, you should enjoy at least one video on their channel. Give them some love on their channel by not just subbing, but taking a look at their content, leave comments, suggestions, stuff like that. I mean, that's what I do. Really, peeping egg, they cancel school for 1 inch of snow. Here in Canada, it could be like hypothetically like 2 feet of snow, and they wouldn't cancel school. Although they might cancel school if it's too cold, though. That I do know. But that's awesome. I mean, not what you said, or the perfect way of kind of checking each other's channels out. I mean, there's lots of channels out there. I mean, I try to support as many as I can, but, I'm just one person. There's probably a bunch of channels I haven't even heard about. I just don't see them when I search for certain topics or see them drop into the live stream or other people's live streams or commenting on your videos and stuff like that. So, I know the art of prepping said something just a little bit earlier ago. Oh, flares. Flares. Um, I could get them if I wanted to. I'm just not sure yet. I mean, with a limited budget, I gotta prioritize things first. You know, buy a flare with a flare gun, or buy more water and food. So, I gotta make the choice. So some things are just gonna be more important. Hopefully, later on, maybe I'll have something like a flare with a flare gun. I'm glad. I'm glad you guys are having a great time here. And I got a few more people dropping in, which is cool. Welcome everyone that's dropping in onto this live stream right here. I kind of went away from the topic that I was talking about, which was just talking about like these rules of three, which is basically a way to prioritize the list of most of survival priorities. And then there's the easy to remember system of like the 10 C's of survivability. Like what I like a little bit more, and for me it makes sense, especially if I'm explaining it to someone that might not be into survivalism, prepping, bushcrafting, or even homesteading, or anything like that. So, I just kind of mention it as, well, what I call the survival 7. But basically, like, shelter, uh, fire, heat, lighting, water, cooling, uh, and the shelter and the water and the fire kind of help you control your core body temperature so it's not too hot, not too cold, so you're not sweating and not shivering. Uh, Food is part of that, and safety and security, which includes, well, you want to feel safe in the area that you're in, and if you're injured, you wanted something you might need something to bandage yourself up, so to speak. So you know you get a cut, you put a bandage on, and then there comes navigation, communication, and orientation, so you know where you are in relationship to everything else. Because there's no point in going somewhere if you don't even know where you are, because you might not know how far that distance is. And if you don't know how far the distance is, you can't plan accordingly, because it might be a lot more than you think, a lot shorter. So if you don't have the food and the water enough, right, you might have to make a pit stop or make a secondary camp before going to your destination. And the last thing is transportation and movement, which I rarely hear about, but you as like a human culture, we migrated kind of from the African savanna type of land and migrated and went across four corners of the globe, and humans are on every single continent, you know, and stuff like that. We've mastered going from hot climates to warm climates to dry climates to the jungle and stuff like that. So leave me a comment down below again if you want to kind of, you know, see a few more things, a few more kits. I figure, you know, I'll share a few more kits, or, you know, just show you guys an overview of the kit. I won't show everything. I'll leave that for when I actually do the video on the kit. But if you guys want to see more kits, let me know right now on the side chat. Oh, thanks, Peeping A. Yeah, the navigation, I mean, if you don't know where you are, how can you know where you're going? Or even if you know where you're going, you might not know where you are. So, I mean, if you want to go from point A to point Z, well, you kind of have to know which direction to go and stuff like that. Because certain things might require you to make a second camp, or you know, an intermediate type of camp in the meantime, because you can't get there in one day or on just a single hike. I like how the Peeping Egg said, "Whatever you have nearby is good with us." Like she's speaking for everyone now. Just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, I'll show off a kit that I've actually been well, I've had this kind of what I named it as in that video as a virtually waterproof type of tin kit. The thing is, like, as everyone's aware, these kind of survival kits are evolving all the time because you acquire new knowledge, new skills, and new gear along the way, right? So they constantly change. You know, everyone's always trying to keep the weight down, keep the bulk down, but increase functionality or capability, as an art of prepping would say. So for me, I have this kind of mid-weight tin. I also carry, right? But what I found is I have a pouch system and a tin that's in my pocket right now that I've shown before. That's the supplemental survival kit, which I am not gonna show because I'm gonna be showing that off in a different video. But it's basically version 2. But basically, what I found was this tin and the pouch are better than this kind of survival bigger tin that I have, which I'll show in a sec. Like, this is the kind of outer tin I have. This is much bigger. As you can see, this is much bigger than the puzzle tin. And this, especially if I add a cutting tool of some sort inside, like a knife or whatever, it's going to increase the weight slightly. But basically, I found this was too big, either too heavy in comparison to a tin, so it's harder for me to get in the pocket, but not big enough that I can fit more shelter or food inside, or water, for example. Like, for this, even though I have like foil, I gotta dig it out if I want to boil water. Shelter, I gotta dig out the bag that's inside of here for shelter. Where not specifically this one, but the one I have in my pocket. I'm just using this as a visual indication or example. The one I have in my pocket has all that stuff, and I'm more likely to use this than this just because this is harder to fit in my pocket. This weighs more than this kit, well, the one in my pocket. And the pouch kind of kit that I have weighs more than both of them, but it has way more capability. Like, maybe bigger knife, more capable type of more shelter elements, more fire, an actual container to boil water in, not just a can, well, not just a metal tin or foil, for example. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to read your guys' chat right here real quick. So I'm up to date what you guys are talking about versus what I'm talking about, and if you're asking questions and comments, and if it sounds great or whatever, I'll kind of say it again. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Peeping egg. I wish I was better at stellar navigation using the stars. I mean, like, what's that one tool that they use? It uses the fixed point of the Northern Star with, so you can figure out I think it's latitude or whatever. I bet you the Art Perfect knows what I'm talking about, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm hoping to learn about it, and I think you can actually make one. I know that. But I've been actually thinking about learning about that kind of stuff. Yes, I know you guys want to see all the kits. Can't show you guys everything yet, or else I wouldn't have any video for later on. Oh, thanks, Peeping A. Glad you enjoyed the kits. And coming back to that kind of star navigation, I mean, it don't work if it's cloudy, right? Or if it's even if it's partly cloudy, if you can't see the star that you need to see, probably not gonna help. I mean, like, just seeing one star in the sky is probably not gonna help you, because you might confuse it for a different star or somewhere else on the, well, where the stars are. So you might be confusing it with something else. Let's see. Oh, you're totally right. Peeping A. I know I kind of mentioned it before about what's more important to me. Uh, learning through learning from reading or learning from experience. I tend to rather learn from experience, but I mean, books are useful, but they can only help you get into the direction. You gotta take that step forward in the direction to, and see it with your own eyes, touch it with your own hands, smell it with your own nose, hear it with your own ears, and stuff like that. That, you know what, Narda Perfect, I will take that as a compliment. He said, Cigar could build a house out of the garbage in our trash cans. Smiley face, thanks. If I ever did that, it'd be for a challenge, and really test out my kind of outside the box thinking. I know people are like, always use the word MacGyver. I mean, I watch the show, I know about it, but that's fictional. There's things in the real world that, this kind of stuff that you might see on MacGyver doesn't apply because it actually doesn't work that way in the real world. You know, they have MacGyver physics, you know, or it's exaggerated. You know, you're not that get this explosion like in the show. You know, it'd be like pop, and that's it. Yes, yes, it's called a sextant. Like like I said, it's used in during I think it's times like well when before discovering, you know, North American continent, uh, explorers, for example, like Christopher Columbus. There's a lot more. There's Canadians, the French, and stuff like that. I think they used something like that and had some sort of protractor or whatever so they can tell what angle. I'm not very familiar with it, so I don't know much, so I won't go into it deeply. Yes, the Big Dipper points to the North Star. It's the hook part, if I remember right. See, my point exactly. Alex thought it was the Little Dipper, but our purpose says it's the Bigger Dipper. I mean, you might think you know it, but it's just like, because you haven't done it in a while, you kind of, you know, confusing it or, uh, well, yeah, confusing it with something else. Yep, actually, if I remember right, this the Northern Star, which is Polaris, this will be true for the next couple thousand years, but it'll actually change. But you know, nothing we have to worry about for now, right? Oh, so anyways, now that I've caught up back up on the chat here, like I said, this I've shown this before. And by the way, thank you for everyone that's on this live stream. Yeah, I had to put that in. Like, I actually made this before I made the Puzzleton survival supplemental survival kits, so I had stuff inside, fire, shelter, something to help with water and stuff like that. But like I said, I found this too wide for me. Like, yeah, I can fit it into the pocket, but just you know, depending on what I'm wearing, like, if I'm wearing a hoodie, yeah, it'll fit in my pocket, but stretching out the pocket and stuff like that, it's more, it might be just as thick, right? Might be just as thick as the puzzle tin, but it's definitely wider, as you can see. So fitting it into this fits easier in a pocket than this. Even though I can get more in here, I mean, there's no point in bringing something if I'm not done bringing it with me, and that's what happened. I didn't have this in my pocket, but I would be stretching on my pocket, or stuff like that, or it wouldn't fit in my pocket just because whatever clothes I'm wearing, or fit in my hoodie pocket or whatever because it's too big. I can't, I can fit it in there, but I can't get anything else in there that I need, such as my keys or something like that. Where something like this, I can fit it in virtually any of the pockets that I have in terms of clothing. Still has some key items, so I'm not losing too much in functionality, but it's easier for me to carry. So I'm kind of been going away from this. just, I mean, it might work for other people, but when I made it, it's fine. But you know, as I'm learning more, these kits evolve, and I mean, for me, I'm not gonna be using this. For me personally, I might, you know, break this down, scavenge the materials out of it, and remake a different kit, or add the items inside to a different kit and make a newer kit, maybe make a new fire kit or something like that, or you know, maybe make a tin for a kit like this for a different bag, like a bigger bag. But for right now, nope, I am not using this. Oh, I'm glad you guys are having fun on the side chat. That's cool. That's cool. Actually, I got a special surprise, but I'll kind of leave it for a little bit later. And someone's getting a shout out on this video for the second time. Again. But you guys have to figure out who it is, though. Ooh. I know who I'm giving a shout out to on this video, though. So, anyways, oh yeah, actually, I guess I do have that kind of heavier kit that I have. So basically, this is a pouch type of kit. Now, this is definitely heavier and bigger than this tin kit that I just showed. Like it's probably like twice as big, at least. It's probably, you know, at least twice as heavy. But this also has a strap, so I can put it around my shoulder. So I don't necessarily need to put this in my, you know, it won't fit in a pocket. I can still fit it in a backpack, but I can, you know, wear it, right? It's black, so it's kind of low key, not too obvious. You know, nothing abnormal or doesn't look too unusual, or it doesn't stand out per se. But it has way more items, such as, you know, an actual compass, you know, multi-tool, a container to hold water that I don't have to empty out like a tin, for example, or dig out foil, for example. Because, I mean, I know tins you can boil in or whatever, but you only have so much room. I mean, so much room to put water in. And yes, you can use foil, but foil is also, you know, there might be issues in terms of like you springing a leak or you poke a hole through it, unfortunately, right? But in this kit, I have a dedicated metal container, so and it's very easy for me to slide it out. You know, I can slide it out within like 10 seconds. Put some water in it, put over, you know, some hot coals and boil some water or a stove or whatever. I will show off a few of the items I have in here. You know, they include a fire kit. Yes, some flames. Now, if anyone can guess what this tin, like I said, if anyone can guess where this tin came from, I will give you props for knowing what this tin is from. Because I don't think I've told anyone. And if I have, don't say anything yet. But I want to see if anyone can guess what this tin's from. Because I had to sand it down, and you know, I added these things in. But basically, it's a fire kit, obviously. you know, more parachute type of cordage, you know, 7 strand, you know, the ender strands can be used for other things like fishing, for example, or for making traps. So I got enough of it here. Here's a fishing hook that I made a little fly from, you know, a small section or part of the paracord, bright yellow paracord. You know, I saw people making them, so I was like, you know what? I got the cordage and I got the hook, so you know, I'll try it out. You know, maybe it'll help me. And at least if I misplace this, well, it's gonna be easy enough for me to see this hook. I mean, I could see this almost anywhere. And there's, let's see, some foil and a coffee filter at the bottom of my kind of tin right here. Like I said, I got a metal container, so I can easily pull this out, boil water in here. I didn't even realize I took that from heat to art of prepping. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But yeah, there's definitely more in this kit. I'm not gonna show this off because I know some people like to view the kits, and well, this live stream's already been 90 minutes, so and I don't want to timestamp that spot just to be like, oh, here's this kit right here. I'll just show it off later on entirely. And besides, you guys can see more close-up images or video of it. And I guess I probably should put the stuff back inside before I forget. The kind of reasoning why I haven't shown off a lot of the kits is because I've been updating them, and there's some new kind of ideas I've been trying and I put forth, and they're already with the kits, but I want to show kind of these other things first before I show off the kit. So when I come back to the kit, I'll be like, oh hey, remember XYZ video? Yeah, this is where I showed it. You know, that way when I kind of show off the kit, I can just go buy it quickly because I can just refer to a different video versus taking the next 5 minutes trying to explain it again and making, you know, a kit video like 20 some minutes. Just like the, you know, I've shown off kit videos that are like so long, especially the more content, I mean, the more things are inside the kit. It's going to take me a little bit longer to show. Let's see. Some part of a t-shirt. It's not a bandana, but it is commons, so. And it's more, I think, either this is lighter or there's less of it, so it doesn't take as much room. But, you know, not quite cotton bandana, but cotton t-shirt. Probably gonna be more or less the same. And currently I just got a cheap multi-tool in here right now. Just when I check on it, I might as well check. Yeah, blade sharp. Sharp enough that it's not past the paper cutting test. Alright, the art of prepping's taking off here. Thanks for dropping by, man. And, like I said, I'm doing a shout out on this video. So, the shout out for this video is gonna go to the art of prepping, who's been supportive of my channel. I've checked out maybe not all of their content, but you know, you could see that I've left comments on the channel. So, shout out to the art of prepping, who, you know, I've been learning from too. So, and I enjoy the info and stuff that he shows on his channel. So go check out the channel. I'll put a link in the description pretty soon here. Actually, I'll probably just do this right now. Yeah, I'll just do it right now. I'll just kind of add it in. Just bear with me for a second. I'm just adding it into the description right now. The shout out. No problem, man. No problem. You know, you've been very supportive, like I said, so I'll support you right back. Oh, let's see. Hey, it's Pine. What's up? Hello. I guess I should say good morning because it's probably like what, morning still in the UK. I'm hoping everything's going good with you, Pine. Hopefully the sun's out, and not that kind of standard, oh, it's raining again thing that you always kind of hear in the UK. It's always raining or something. It's never clear or whatever. Oh. So, let's see. Who wants to see? Oh, make sure I'm in frame here. So, who wants to see another kind of survival kit? Let me know in the side chat while I kind of remember to put the stuff away so it's not all over the place. So it's still in a ready to go state, right? So I will show return in a second. So if you want to see more kits, let me know. Oh, that's awesome to hear, Pine. That's sunny there. Woo! Solar! Oh, jeez, I almost forgot my coffee. Cheers. Oh yeah, that's some good coffee. Yeah. um, is it weird that I'm thinking of like sunny side up eggs right now? I don't know. It's just the way you guys leave in these comments. I mean, on the side chat, it's just kind of reminding me of sunny side up eggs right now. But you know, it's me. That's how I see things. Guess I'm just weird like that. Whatever. Not like I care. Oh, see, I knew it, I knew it. I knew the peeping egg had to love sunny side up. I mean, like, the peeping egg not liking eggs. I mean, no way. So, like I said earlier, since no one's answering my air question, I've been making a few more of these tin kits. Not sure exactly how it's gonna turn out, but I'm gonna keep that what I call the survival 7 in mind, or the rules of 3, or the 10 C's of survivability in mind when I'm creating it, or any air kit. But most likely this will probably be, a backup, or, something I can barter with. So they don't got certain things I could be like, here, see if it, see if the trade or exchange is worth what I'm getting or what I'm giving away. I mean, like, depending what's in here, I mean, this could be worth a can of food or something like that, or maybe like a pound of flour or something like that. I don't know. Depends how people want to barter. Yep, every time the peeping egg comes by, I always gotta make the egg jokes. I gotta crack up a nerd. Exciting joke. Yeah, I know, I just said that. Just give me one moment here. I'm just kind of checking up on the last live stream I did, which actually is I kind of brought up the subject on this live stream on the last live stream, which is actually the last video. Oh, good. I guess I was just checking to see if I have access to the end screen end cards yet, so I'll have to add that in. Stuff like that. Yep, the peeping egg cracks me up. Literally and figuratively. Only her can, you know, she knows how to stir my yolk. Just kidding. I know you know where that came from. Yeah, forget what I said. I thought it was funny. I don't think it was funny. Even though I think it's funny, but I don't think it's funny. Um, I hope you don't mind me saying it out loud, Pine, but I'll kind of paraphrase what she said. Uh, she kind of wrote, if all hell breaks loose, kind of where would be the best place to go? I think, you know, if anything, have more than one option. Have that contingency plan. You know, if you have free plans, well, at least it'll give you more options to work with. So she was asking, where would be the best place to go. If you can, have something set back. For example, food, water, maybe a pre-made shelter with firewood and stuff like that at all these locations. Now, granted, it's going to take more time and money and stuff like that, but that's how I would try to do it. Now, if I had to pick one first, maybe pick one, you know, the forest first, for example, right? Go from there. See, me and Peeping Anger are thinking the same way. Yeah, the forest. It's it's because these are two spots. Yeah, it might, the conditions might vary. I mean, in the mountains you gotta deal with elevation and stuff like that. So somewhere in a cave, well, you might be safe, but prolonged uh, prolonged exposure to the dark. Um, I mean, every location has their pros and cons. Some places have better resources. Some places have less resources. Some places are, you know, you might not have to worry about shelter, for example, like in a cave as much, but it might be cooler. You don't have to worry about water maybe so much because there might be, a spring or an underwater kind of in the cave, but you'll have to worry about maybe something like fire or keeping warm because a cave is cool. Like somewhere like in the mountains, I mean, you get the height advantage, so you can see people coming, but sometimes there's less resources. The higher the elevation, usually the higher the elevation, the colder it starts getting. Unless you got good, protection against the wind, you're gonna feel the full brunt of the wind most of the time. Just checking to see what you guys are writing right here. Okay, peeping in. Just gotta throw in that fatwood in, or right? I guess you can find fatwood in the forest. Oh yeah, exactly, peeping in. A cave, you know, I mean, if it's a small cave, you can defend that, or at least know what's inside. If it's a deeper cave, multiple passageways, right? There's no guarantee when you return from like hunting or gathering firewood, there's nothing in there. You can't be certain. I mean, like if it's a small cave, yeah, you could tell just because you can physically see. Oh, there's no one in here because you could see all the walls everywhere inside. But the bigger it is, the harder it is to defend because you know it could be like you said, a bear inside, just around the next corner of the cave through the path, right? So if there's a path going through, and then there's a fork in that path, in that kind of cave, the bear could be on the left side, and you wouldn't know because you don't hear it, and there's no indications of tracks coming in, for example. Just reading what you guys are writing real quick. Geez, you guys write so fast. You guys should put on slow-mo for this video. Yeah, whatever. Pine, I just watched a video about someone making a kind of a treehouse per se of, lack of a better term. Well, up in a big tree. It's possible, but you have to work. Let's just say you gotta maintain it, right? Unless, even if you put, what's it called, uh, some sort of sealant for the floorboards or whatever, right? Um, UV sun resistant or resist fading, like paint and stuff like that. So you're not gonna have to add ways to well, because you're gonna have to add a floor, walls, and some sort of roof. You probably wouldn't want natural materials so you can kind of hide it so it's not in plain view. So you probably won't per se be using a blue tarp because it might stand out too much. You might have to use a green one, or if you do use a colored tarp, you might have to hide it, conceal it so it's not so visible from the ground. The only people that know it about it are people you tell or yourself, for example, because you know you're the one that made it, so you know exactly where it is in the forest. The thing about super shelters, I've heard about this. I've actually have I know the principles behind making a super shelter, which a super shelter in all intensive purposes is basically a greenhouse. A greenhouse. It, it's similar concepts. Basically, you're holding back the heat that kind of radiant or infrared heat, similar to how a greenhouse would hold back the heat from the sun to make the environment warmer, so it can actually, well, where you can actually grow like cactus in a greenhouse. Or normally in that environment, you wouldn't be able to grow that because there's not enough heat. But yeah, uh, super shelters, you have to watch out from of freezing rain. It's because when there's two things like freezing rain, it coats your window, right? That's that clear part that lets the infrared heat in, but it doesn't let it escape readily or fast. But basically, it blocks the infrared heat from coming in because actually water absorbs infrared heat. That's why water, for example, it takes a lot of time per se to boil a cup of water, for example. Like you need so much energy in be put in to get that water to boil, especially if you're brewing up like coffee or tea, for example. Just catching up on what you guys are writing on the chat. Uh, it's okay peeping egg. I'm getting more used to it. At least with you, then I can get better at talking faster and reading faster. And besides, I keep the chat on the side, on a separate screen, so I can still refer to it and gradually catch up to you guys. And don't worry about typing fast. I type fast too. I type all the time, right? That's funny pie. Swimming to the US. Actually, isn't it closer to like Greenland? Or you can make a pit stop in Greenland, then come to like actually Pine. Canada's closer than the US. It's because yeah, Canada's definitely closer to the UK than the US. But definitely out in Atlantic Canada. I know. As you look at the map, it sticks out more than the US border, so physically it should be closer. But I know, just saying. Okay, okay, Rose. Okay, okay. That's cool. That's cool that you can kind of add more and, you know, pay attention a little bit more. That's awesome. Well, I guess there's nothing like saying good morning with a cup of coffee. Yeah, that pretty much sums up what everyone just wrote in the last like couple sentences or paragraphs. I'm really liking where this live stream's going today, or tonight, or morning, or whatever, whenever you're watching it. Because, like I said earlier, I was just talking about, you know, well, earlier in this live stream, I was just talking about, you know, shelter, fire, water, food, safety and security, navigation, orientation, and, you know, basically knowing where you are and feeling safe in whatever's going on. Because if you feel safe, you know, you won't feel stressed out. Your heart rate won't increase, and of course, being able to move or transportation is important too, because you want to be able to get to your places easily as you can. You know, we all got feet, but something like a car, bicycle, something on wheels might, you know, help get there faster, especially if you're per se carrying something like an evacuation type of bag, which, you know, you can consider a bug out bag, a evacuation type of bag. Because basically bugging out kind of means, you know, you gotta leave quickly, so evacuate. Maybe in terms of like fire, hurricane, tornado, I mean, stuff like that. So I still haven't heard a response for you guys on the side chat. Who wants to see a few more kits? A few more things. I feel kinda in the sharing mood, so no, I won't share everything as well. Because I wanted to leave it as a video for later on, but I will show a few. Actually, you know what? I'll show a few more things. Probably not in great detail, but I'll show a few things for everyone that's watching, or that's still watching, or watching this after it goes live, or pre-recorded, or whatever. Give me a sec. I will be right back and show something else. Alright, I'm back. I got a few things to show here, such as new kind of bang I'm working on. Nothing too special, just something I had. Actually, I guess you could. I didn't realize I actually showed it, but basically, I made a bag from one of those kind of bowling shoe type of bags. This one's from Avon. As you can see, on the zipper pulls, I've already, you know, braided something on there for a better zipper pull that's a little bit longer. There's one right here too, Now I don't really have anything inside of it. I think I have a couple bags. I got a Sharpie in here. I mean, currently inside I got nothing inside. But this is basically like, for example, I know certain times, you know, you can't bring a large backpack, but you want to bring a little bit more, but you don't want to put it in your pockets. Let's say you're carpooling, you know, and then you got groceries in the back, 2 other people, all the seats are full, right? You know, and you can't get your normal backpack in there because it's gonna be too crowded. For example, for times like those, I bring this so I can still have, you know, items inside, you know, key kits or items inside, like the first aid kit. I can put a first aid kit in here, maybe a water bottle, and if I need to, you know, some other kits, maybe a fire kit, some tools, multi-tools, for example. Because this has a handle. Because remember, this used to be for like a bowling shoe type of bag, so I can carry it with one hand. And what I did was using a cable lock, what's it called? Our person told me about this before, but yeah, cord lock, yeah, single barrel cord lock. That's what it's called. Because if you Google cord lock, yeah, if you Google it, you'll find it out, and that's how I know about it. But basically, that's what I put. So basically, I could slide this, and basically, you know, put my stuff inside, zipper it up, and as you can see here, you know, it's on my back. Very, very slimline, very minimal. I might not be able to fit, you know, a lot of stuff inside, but still gives me that option to have kind of a bag, but it's kind of, you know, minimal. So this is kind of like miscellaneous, well, not miscellaneous, but it's there if I need it, you know, as an option to carry something. I mean, sometimes when I go scouting or whatever, you know, maybe I don't want to bring a big backpack with me, you know, it's sunny out, plus 20 out, you know, 70 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, you know, I don't, you know, as long as I bring water, maybe the first aid kit, you know, maybe a granola bar or something like that, maybe, you know, a poncho, yeah, probably gonna be good enough for that scavenging trip that I'm only taking for like an hour or two, and I'm not even that far from home. Sorry, sorry, client. It's because my chat window's to the side, so I'm trying to look at it. So I'm trying to remember to look at the camera here. It's because I have other stuff in this room that I'm not showing yet, so I'm not gonna pan the camera too much. But I'm trying to remember to stay in frame as much as I can. Oh, hey, thanks, Pine. I mean, this is just something you know, I got a church sale, no, a community sale for a couple bucks. I've modified it, and now, you know, I've used it several times now. I've actually had it in some of the videos. I just never said I had this with me. You know. I'm hoping to improve on it though. I'm not sure though. Give me 1 second. I just gotta check a quick message here. Okay. Alright. Anyways. Oh, thanks, Peeping A. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the kits that I make. You know, they might not be spectacular, or maybe even the highest quality at times, but they're, how did I say, attainable, even for the common person. And that's why I make them in the first place, for people that don't have everything. And to test myself to see, can I actually make something for what, you know, something that people be like, yeah, whatever, it's just XYZ, that's a lot. I can get that anytime I want or use it whenever I want. So if I convert XYZ into something that's XYZ plus this, that, and this, and with more functionality, I mean, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm probably gonna end this live stream. I've been going on a little too much. I didn't think I actually would have went that long with this video. It's actually longer than the last video, and I didn't quite talk enough in this video, I think. I mean, I don't mind showing off a few things, but I guess it is what it is. I guess once you start getting excited about doing a live stream, you don't want to stop it. So there might be another live stream after this again. I'll have to see. Depends how tired I feel. I'm not sure if I want to talk about that subject after. Alright, Pine. Thank you for dropping by. Have fun. Enjoy the day. Enjoy that sun. And take care. So yeah, since everyone's gonna be taking off relatively soon, I'll probably end this live stream. Glad everyone can kind of meet each other, you know, check each other's content out, sub to each other, watch their videos, leave comments, and generally give good channel support as much as you can. So yes, all the kits that I've just shown, I didn't show in great detail, of course, but I'm leaving that for when I actually show off that kit, because there probably is gonna be adjustments to them again, because I'm always adjusting the kits, especially as I'm learning stuff, or a new way, or a different way of like storing or keeping a certain item. So for example, tape. Ever since I did the video on how to store tape, now all my kits have layered tape instead, because it just seems to work 90% of the time. And it's cool. It's cool peeping in. I mean, if you want to stay, that's cool. If you don't, that's fine with me too. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Of course, peeping at you. I think you've already messaged me on on Gmail, haven't you? Well, you can reach me on Gmail under my username, or you can message me through YouTube. Whatever works. Nope, I am currently not selling a kit right now, peeping egg. I know. I guess I better give, I guess. But, you know, hopefully one of these days I'll start selling something. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just not a really big or into pre-made kits. I mean, that you can buy commercially. I just find some of them, you know, it's just lacking, or it feels like, you know, I know I can make something or just as better than this, 10 times better than this. So, you know, I don't want to buy it because, you know, I can make something better. Oh, hey, thanks, peeping, eh? I mean, you know, hopefully one day I'll be ultimate. Just kidding. Yeah, I guess I could do that too. I guess I could do that if I wanted to. I'll have to see. Checking up on some messages here. Okay. Making sure I'm not missing out while I'm doing this live stream. I know the other day when I did a live stream, I forgot to check the messages and I had like 12 messages waiting for me. I'm like, oops. I guess I forgot to check those. Sorry. Alright, peeping in. Thanks for dropping by again. Always exciting having you pop by. You always crack me up. Oh. So it doesn't look like I have anyone else talking, even though I have like people kind of in right now. I will give it another few minutes here. Let's see. So I know some people said they'd be right back, but you know, it's been a while. So while I wait, and you know, it's live streaming, so you know, when you gotta go, right? So now's a good time. So I will return very shortly here. In the meantime, I'll leave my CR logo on so you guys can, well, stand by. And I shall return in a moment. And anyone that's, you know, jumping onto the side chat right here, I will leave. Anyone on the side chat right here, I'm just gonna say I'll be right back in about 90 seconds. Alrighty then. Alright, guys, I'm back. Sorry for the delay or inconvenience. You know, when you're drinking coffee, eventually it's gotta come back out, so, you know, it is what it is. Thank you, Rose, for checking out my stuff. I greatly appreciate that. Always appreciate everyone that subs in before the sub count, but you know, for the views and the comments you guys will leave me, as I have quite a bit of content ranging from different topics and stuff like that. Even, you know, simple everyday use things that, you know, might come in handy, especially if you have to do it, like snow removal or dealing with leaves during the fall, for as an example. Just give me 1 sec. I'm just checking up on some messages right here. Just seeing if anyone messaged me on my way out or when I was gone. Alright. Alright. Oh, so, oof. Didn't realize how long I've been doing this. Didn't realize how long I was doing this live stream for. It's already been like over 2 hours already. So I guess I'll basically kind of finish off what I was kind of talking about earlier, and kind of, you know, sum up what I just kind of was talking about. You know, having certain items are gonna be useful for you in a survival kit, but you gotta make sure you're covering the basics. You know, shelter, fire, water, food, safety, security, orientation, navigation, like knowing where you are in relationship to everything else, and knowing where your destination is in relation to everything else, and of course, movement and transportation. I mean, for example, again, having a spare running shoes in your work bag if you work in an office. So if you're wearing high heels or dress shoes, you know, you got something more comfortable to wear. So that comes back to the movement, where you'll be able to move quicker, easier with less pain, because the shoes you're wearing are more comfortable in comparison to those dress shoes or high heels, for example. And of course, the movement also still include transportation, standard, you know, cars and stuff like that. So I'll probably be ending this live stream within the next, you know, few minutes here. So if anyone wants to leave me a comment on the side chat still, now's a good time. Because I probably won't be on that much longer. It is starting to get late. So I guess I'll probably end this live stream right here. So, you guys enjoy what you just saw, hit me up on a big thumbs up. Now, I leave a whole bunch of playlists of a whole bunch of videos, so you guys can go check out those playlists, from showing off kits, containers, fire stuff, solar stuff, cordage. I think I have a water kit in there. There's shelter kits. And there's a whole bunch. And this also includes my scavenging videos that I've done, which I have a lot of. You can go check that stuff out. I mean, some of the stuff I scavenged out of nowhere, it's just like crazy. So you never know until you take a look. So as the world changes, so must oneself. To reach a new level of skill and knowledge, one must practice. Now, a single person can't help everyone in this world, but one person, like you guys watching live or processed, and me, can help someone in this world. Alright guys, until the next video from me, it's peace out from the guy that's always in creation mode. Creative Redundancy. Catch you later. Peace out.